everyone, it's Katrina. Number 10. The Temple of the Lake.
Lake Titicaca was one of the most important places in the world for the Inca civilization and for the cultures that came before them.
The lake lies on the modern border of Bolivia and Peru. Long before the Inca dominated the region, Lake Titicaca was home to the Tiwanaku people. That was about 1,000 years ago. When the Spaniards showed up in the 16th century, the Inca had based their empire in Cusco, which is very near Lake Titicaca. It was seen as a holy lake, one that's positioned 12,464 feet above sea level. The Inca and those older cultures who lived near the lake believed that their creator god, Viracocha, emerged from the lake at the dawn of time and brought human beings into the world. Therefore, Lake Titicaca was the place of their origin. The Inca also believed that when they died, their spirits would find their way back to the lake and to the realm beyond. 2 decades ago, scientists found a submerged temple at the bottom of Lake Titicaca.
The temple is about 1,000 years old and truly enormous. It stretches an unbelievable 660 feet along the sediment at the lake's bottom.
Researchers also found the remains of an ancient road attached to the temple. They discovered the bones of llamas that may have been slaughtered at the temple and sacrificed to Viracocha. Sadly, the truth of the sunken temple remains a mystery. It was first reported in 2000 that it was found, and very little information has been released since. This may have been one of the most important sites in the Inca world, but we won't know more until experts invest more resources into investigating it. Number 9. Neanderthal clamshells. Neanderthals were a big fan of seashell tools. In a recent new study, scientists looked at ancient Neanderthal artifacts discovered in the cave site of Grotta dei Moscherini. It's one of the earliest Neanderthal sites in Italy, where researchers found an abundance of modified clamshells.
These clamshells were turned into tools by ancient human ancestors roughly 100,000 years ago.
They weren't found by scientists underwater, but they may have been fished out of the water by Neanderthals. Experts were able to identify the modified shells as belonging to the clam species Callista Chione. By looking at the preservation of the shells, they were able to tell that at least 1/4 of them were picked off the seafloor while still alive. What does all of this mean? Rather than Neanderthals collecting shells that washed up on the beach, they were diving to the bottom of the sea and picking them for themselves. This is the most recent evidence to suggest Neanderthals were big on diving. Long before our own species, Homo Sapiens, could even swim, Neanderthals were diving.
They dove to the bottom of the sea to collect shells and turn them into tools.
It's absolutely mind-boggling, and it makes you wonder how such a smart species of human went extinct.
And now for number 8. But first, it's shout-out time! I want to give a big thank you to Chun Shekafield and the Cooksies for supporting this channel. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already for more videos about amazing discoveries.
Number 8. The Eye of Sauron. Researchers in the Indian Ocean recently came across the crumbling remains of a collapsed volcano. It's proven to be particularly exciting because the underwater volcano has a resemblance to the Eye of Sauron from The Lord of the Rings.
The collapsed structure looks almost identical to the evil Sauron's all-seeing eye, but in fact, the eye is a depression about 3.9 miles long.
It's what scientists call a caldera, essentially the mouth of a volcano. The oval depression that looks so much like Sauron's eye once had magma spewing out of it, likely many thousands of years ago. The walls of the caldera rise about 300 meters, making it look like the eye has its own eyelids. Then there is a cone peak at the very center that makes it look as though the eye has a pupil. With all these features put together, it really does look like a sunken eyeball staring up toward the surface. The researchers who discovered the structure were on a scientific vessel owned by Australia's Cero Science Organization. They were using sonar to create 3-dimensional maps of the volcano and the surrounding seafloor. And although the Eye of Sauron was the most exciting volcano, it definitely wasn't the only one found. Experts identified multiple volcanic cones and sea mountains in the area. They continued to name them after various locations from the Lord of the Rings fantasy. Number 7. Octopus Nursery. In all of human existence, only 2 octopus nurseries have ever been found in the deep sea until now. Off the coast of Costa Rica, scientists with the Schmidt Ocean Institute identified the third known octopus nursery. They found what is basically the pediatric ward for wild octopuses in the area. The scientists witnessed octopus mothers nursing and babies being hatched. The scientists witnessed octopus mothers guarding eggs and babies hatching.
The nursery is tucked away in a cluster of underwater mountains, a remote place in the ocean that helps facilitate biodiversity. It helps that the octopus nursery is safely tucked away 9,000 feet below the surface.
It's cold and dark, but a perfectly acceptable habitat for octopuses. Experts even think the ones they found could be a new species of a type of octopus known as moose octopus. Moose octopus, to the untrained eye, look like perfectly ordinary octopuses. They are pale purple and have 8 tentacles, but they don't possess an ink sac. That's really the big difference. Even though all types of octopuses practice mostly solitary lives, this particular place seems to attract them in droves. It was a big shock for researchers to witness so many female octopuses hatching their young ones in the exact same spot. It goes to show there is so much more to understand about the ocean, and especially about octopuses. Number 6. A shocking Maya ritual. Near the ancient ruins of one of Mexico's most famous tourist attractions, archaeologists made an amazing discovery. I'm talking about the ruins of Chichen Itza, founded by the Mayan civilization around 600 AD. It prospered as one of the largest Maya cities for 600 years, but by the time the Spaniards showed up, it was already in ruins. The Maya abandoned the great city of Chichen Itza and its many temples in 1200 AD. To this day, researchers still don't know why the Maya left their city, allowing it to be eaten by the jungle. The most recent shocking discovery was made in 2021 with help from the National Institute of Anthropology and History.
Researchers discovered an ancient canoe deep in the water of the San Andres Cenote.
About 15 feet beneath where the current water level is, the canoe was jammed inside a submerged cave. But that isn't even the shocking part. Researchers also found the skeletons of 7 different species. Those species include human, dog, turkey, armadillo, and eagle. Analysis of the human bone showed it to be from the left foot of an adult woman. This has led researchers to believe the bones and the canoe were part of a ritual long before the cavern was full of water. The armadillo was the avatar of the Mayan god of the underworld. Plus, the canoe wasn't really made to be seaworthy. It was built quickly and with poor maneuverability. It was likely made specifically for the ritual, though even the specialists don't know precisely what the ritual would have entailed. At first, researchers thought the ceremony would have taken place between 830 and 950 AD. But then radiocarbon dating proved the wood was from the 16th century, after the Spanish already started colonizing. It was also after nearby Chichen Itza had been abandoned. They also found microplastics in the water, which they think could have affected the dating accuracy. Right now, it's all very confusing. The date isn't certain, and nobody can figure out what kind of ritual required the bones of so many random animals and a shoddily built canoe.
Any theories? Let me know in the comments.
Number 5. Underwater AI Robot Guardians. There is an ancient shipwreck in Greek waters that is currently being protected by robotic AI guardians. The ancient shipwreck, located near the island of Alonissos, was open to the public thanks to remotely operated robots. These impressive new robots are changing archaeology in a big way. The thing about deep-sea diving is that it's extremely dangerous, especially when somebody wants to explore an ancient shipwreck. One wrong turn could put the lives of the whole dive team in danger. We all know that after the recent Titan disaster. Not only that, but one wrong move could cause thousands of years of history to be erased by collapsing pieces of the wreckage. Ancient coins could be swept away by the next current and lost forever. This is why underwater archaeology is extremely restricted in Greece. But now, recreational divers are able to go down and look at the shipwreck because of the protection provided by the underwater AI.
The ship itself comes from the 5th century BC, meaning it's 2,500 years old. It sank in the Aegean Sea, and over 3,500 jars of wine were lost forever.
The jars were most likely on their way to somewhere on the other side of the Mediterranean. Greece maintained one of the most complex trading networks of the ancient world. They could have been sending the ship of wine to Egypt, Ethiopia, Arabia, it's anyone's guess. The underwater robots are monitoring cameras. They watch the shipwreck 24 hours a day and rely on artificial intelligence to work. They have image recognition software that sends an alert immediately if the wreckage is in danger of being disturbed. By having AI keep an eye on the shipwreck, now recreational divers are able to get a close-up look of the wreckage. They can see a 2,500-year-old merchant vessel crash at the bottom of the sea, all under the scrutiny of AI. Number 4. The high-finned sperm whale. Throughout the years, there have been sightings of an unusual sea beast in the Atlantic Ocean. People have seen it off the coast of the Shetland Islands in Europe. There was even a sighting of it in the Antarctic Ocean, which is strange because it's on the bottom of the world, but the most famous sighting came sometime during the summer of 1946. Off the coast of Nova Scotia, a group of fishermen supposedly trapped what's known as the high-finned sperm whale for 2 whole days. The whale was a monstrous beast, estimated at upwards of 100 feet. If true, that would make it about the same size as the blue whale, the largest creature that has ever lived. But the sighting was poorly documented and no specimen has ever been found. What makes the high-finned sperm whale so special is that it has an extraordinary dorsal fin. A dorsal fin way larger than what a normal sperm whale has. 2 of these creatures allegedly got stuck on the beach in Scotland near the end of the 17th century, spotted by Scottish antiquary Sir Robert Sibbald. Because of the lack of evidence, many scientists don't think the whale even exists. No scientific name can be given until a physical specimen is discovered. Do you think there could be an enormous whale somewhere in the ocean that hasn't been seen since 1946? Let me know in the comments below, and hit that subscribe button while you're at it. Number 3. Underwater gas. A mysterious pocket of gas has been found underwater that could contain 50 million tons of CO2. As you may know already, the bottom of the ocean is a very gassy place. Thousands of underwater volcanoes are constantly spewing out carbon dioxide. This happens all over the world, where tectonic plates rip apart to form crevices. At the same time, billions of bacteria are hard at work converting millions of decomposing corpses on the bottom of the ocean into natural methane. What many people don't realize is that a lot of this stuff, the methane and CO2, is hidden inside reservoirs just beneath the sea floor. One such pocket has just been found underneath the Okinawa Trough off the coast of Japan. A team of scientists used seismic waves to map the structure of the trough, and there they found a gas pocket stretching an astonishing 2.5 miles wide. It could contain up to 100 million tons of mixed CO2 and methane. Scientists just don't know what kind of gas it is, only that it is gas trapped within the pocket. But what does that mean for the surface dwellers? Is there a gigantic bomb waiting to go off? Or is this an untapped source of natural gas? Scientists warn that if it is CO2, the bubble bursting at once could have devastating effects on the planet. Imagine all the carbon dioxide created from vehicles in a single year contained in one huge bubble. Then that bubble burst. That would basically be what could happen if the undersea gas pocket exploded. Number 2. Lost World War II submarine. Scientists off the coast of Hawaii discovered the wreckage of a Japanese submarine from World War II. The sub was once a technological marvel, and it was supposed to attack the Panama Canal before it was destroyed. The 400-foot-long submarine is a Sentoku-class vessel. It was one of the biggest pre-nuclear subs ever manufactured. In 2005, scientists at the University of Hawaii discovered it just off the coast of Oahu, and it had been missing since 1946. At the end of World War II, before the submarine could do any additional damage, it was captured by the US Navy. It and 4 other Japanese subs were taken to Pearl Harbor for inspection, where the Sentoku-class vessel was then deliberately scuttled, and afterward, the US claimed they had no idea where it happened. This was likely to prevent the technology from falling into the hands of the Soviet Union. The US learned all they could from the submarine and then destroyed it. Now, this old tech has been found sitting about 2,300 feet beneath the surface. Jim Delgado, one of the researchers involved in the discovery, said it was like watching a shark at rest. Even after all these years, the Sentoku-class submarine looks like it could do some serious damage. It almost seems like it could rise from the seabed by itself and go straight back to war. Number 1. Ancient Chinese Shipwrecks. An unimaginable collection of porcelain crockery and busted timber logs have been found in the South China Sea. The porcelain fragments come from a pair of shipwrecks roughly 4,500 feet beneath the surface. Images of the collection looks like somebody flooded Aladdin's cave and all the treasure in it. Stacks of thousands of porcelain bowls make a mountain at the bottom of the sea floor. Researchers say that based on their preliminary findings, the porcelain comes from the Ming Dynasty between 1506 and 1521. Archaeologists are calling it a world-class discovery in the deep sea. The ships were likely used as part of China's exportation business, shipping covered in Chinese porcelains to other parts of the world in the early 16th century. Nobody knows the names of the shipwrecks or what happened to them. The only thing that's for sure is that somebody lost a lot of money. There are an estimated 100,000 pieces of porcelain scattered over an area of several thousand square miles. What do you think would be the most exciting thing to find in an ancient shipwreck? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching! Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already and come back soon for more videos. Bye!